All right, this Mark Bell and Cole Robinson sugar diet nonsense, people have got to address this. I've been asked a bunch about this. Hey, everybody, it's Jason Blaha here. I'm going to cover this for you guys and gals. If you guys would please give me a like down below, I'd greatly appreciate it. If you are not following or subscribed, please do so. And if you would be so kind as to drop me a comment down below, I would greatly appreciate that. Let's get over to this. All right. I'm going to call this, I made a status on this on Facebook the other day. My former client, Doug, actually even chimed in, and he's a coach these days. He's actually got a coaching business now. I coached him for 3 years. Got him qualified for nationals, everything at his first powerlifting meet. And he kind of chimed in and said, look, at this point, it's very obvious that Mark Bell is surrounded by evidence-based people. He knows this is crazy nonsense. He's just going to extremes for money. And I think that's a good way to put this. This sugar diet is insane. These people are telling you, oh yeah, just eat really, really, really low fat. And don't get me wrong, guys. Let me be clear. Ultra low fat diets, when applied correctly, can absolutely get people ripped. Okay, we've seen this in competitive bodybuilding even in the 80s. In the 80s and 90s, and even around a little later, if you guys remember, Dr. John Perillo literally was getting guys contest lean in the IFBB, sometimes still eating 5,000 and 6,000 calories a day, but they were eating like 70% carbohydrate, right? He'd have them doing stuff like, a gram of protein per pound of body weight, nearly zero fat, and just eating tons and tons of starchy carbs like white rice and stuff. And then he would have them do hours of list cardio every day. Guess what? They got absolutely shredded. Because again, we know that humans don't store carbohydrates as subcutaneous fat. You can eat a huge amount of them. You're going to end up seeing a change in thermic effect. You're going to see a lot of stuff, right? No one's denying that sort of approach can't work for getting lean. It has been documented to work. Same thing when we look at all the studies on carbohydrates, subcutaneous fat, especially the modern carbon isotope stuff. Humans are not storing carbohydrates as subcutaneous fat. And also we're going to have an upper threshold of absorption. There's going to be a lot of stuff with NEAT. There's going to be a lot of stuff with thermic effect when you carb overfeed. So again, hopefully no one is thinking I'm disagreeing with the fact that people can get ripped on an ultra high carbohydrate, ultra high carb, very low fat diet. You're going to have dietary deficiencies. You're going to have vitamin deficiencies. You're going to have hormonal deficiencies. Okay. But you can get ripped. So again, let me be clear. I am not saying it won't work, but the whole idea that they're eating tons of refined sugar and junk, all the refined fructose, this is insane. You're going to have metabolic issues as a result of this. Because if you start looking at what are we most concerned with in our diets, what is the stuff that really is causing us the most issues is refined sugar plus too much saturated fat. Those are top of the list. A lot of people want to go over, oh yeah, it's all seed oil. No, it's not all seed oils, honestly. It really isn't. Saturated fat is objectively worse by every metric, but I don't think people should be standing around consuming a bunch of refined seed oils either. So let me be clear, just because I say something is worse doesn't mean the other is good or that it's a good idea or it won't make you fat, okay? So let's get that out of the way. So yeah, we know saturated fat's an issue. We know too much dietary fat, particularly in a refined form, creates hyperpalatability. We know that too much saturated fat gets stored the most efficiently out of any type of calorie you eat as body fat. It has a very easy direct conversion. It also can cause insulin resistance in large amounts. So we know this stuff. And look, an ultra low fat, high carb approach, particularly if cardio and workloads are very, very high, is totally a viable weight loss method. Okay. And it does work. We know it works. We've all seen it work. All right. But again, the refined sugar, it would be fine if they're sitting around consuming some fruit. You know what? It's pretty dang hard to get fat on watermelon and cantaloupe. Agreed? Everyone understand this? Because again, looking at those factors, looking at the enormous satiety index on them, how filling they are, you will almost start vomiting them up before you can gain body fat eating enough of them. All right? Especially if you got sufficient protein to hold on to stuff. Totally viable. It works. Problem is, it's like, oh, then they're eating refined sugar. They're sitting around eating candy all day. They're pushing very large amounts of refined fructose. Him and Cole Robinson both. This is a problem. This is going to hurt people. These are deficient diets because, again, it's not like they're saying, oh, let's just try to limit and get just a little bit of, healthy fat in so we don't tank anything. and let's eat whole foods for these carbohydrates, even if it's sugar. Let's just eat all fruit. All right. It worked. It maybe might end up with some, potential. Some people might be sensitive with some pancreas issues there, eating, 4,000 calories of straight fruit. But otherwise, it's still whole foods. You're going to get a lot of antioxidants, a lot of protective stuff, a lot of nutrients. Now they're just over here pushing deficient stuff. And the problem is, even with the fruit, you're going to convert it. Your gut is going to ferment it into glucose. You're going to have glucose just fine in the bloodstream from it. All this refined sugar, though, is being absorbed in the upper intestine. It is not the same as fruit sugars in a whole form. It's being absorbed in the upper intestine. It's going to hit the liver. It contributes to non-alcoholic fatty liver, insulin resistance. This is bad. And again, a lot of dietary deficiency potentially from this. So they're doing this just to market some other crazy stuff. And let's be clear, these are both people who have made a lot of money marketing crazy fad stuff that, yeah, sure, people might lose some fat on it, but it's also insane and unhealthy. Keep in mind, Cole did the whole snake diet thing, which was an extreme keto diet, and then pushing the snake juice. Let's just all sit around drinking salt water all day. Again, this is crazy. I called him on that like 10 or 12 years ago. Remember? I called him on it back then. Same thing. You have this case where you have Mark Bell, this whole war on carbs. He went extreme keto. Then he kind of went extreme carnivore, so whole ketovore, and pushed that as an extreme dietary stance, making money on all of it. And now he's going to swing all the way around and come up with the most crazy extreme possible. After he kind of did years and years of the high fat, let's do all this, low carb. He did this for years and years and years, which is already an extreme approach. It's not a balanced, healthy approach. And yes, he got ripped because Mark trains hard, that monitors calories, eats lots of protein, and uses lots of drugs. Of course he got ripped. Okay? And no one's saying ultra low carb keto diets can't help you get ripped. No one's saying these sort of really high carbs can't help you get ripped. Sure they can. But the problem is he knows he got ripped just fine before, so then he's going to go to this other metabolically unhealthy diet, and they're going to push it for money. And that's what it's all about. These people, this falls into the category of what I mean by shyster, snake oil salesmen, con men. The stuff that this whole industry is full of, right? This is snake oil salesman. Oh, let's go push this crazy next harmful diet to get you shredded, even though it's on the exact opposite extreme, literally the exact opposite extreme of what we promoted, made money on for years. So let's kick you out a new opposite extreme, crazy deficient, unhealthy diet to get you ripped on the other end of the spectrum. And then they're going to make money on it and cash in on it. And it's all for clout. It's all for attention. It is all for financial gain. They know this is crazy. They know all the stuff they've put out with these diets is crazy and extreme. They know better. All right? Then this nonsense has to be called out. This needs to be called out. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I'll talk to you guys and gals next time.